side. Let's see if we can get another one of the Acacia reserve holes. Come on, come on. Come on, be nice to us. We had like 2 Milano holes, and I played some earlier, and I got like 6 Milano holes in a row. There we go. And I need to switch my bag up. As soon as I get done with this match, I'm going to switch my bag up because I'm going to switch all of my bags and bring a Saturn because I want to try this rough bump down here because the Grizzly just does not have enough topspin, I don't think, to get us up there unless you scoot farther to the left. And I want to stay down here in the rough where it's fat. Let's see how much run out he gets. But with a Saturn, you've got a lot more topspin. Now, the downside with the Saturn is that Grizzly's 100% accurate. So you can see where he's got 2 rings and the 2 rings kind of separation. With the Saturn, you're only going to have 1. But it does have a lot more topspin, so you can at least see how the ball rolls out, because I think that rough bump down there might be a viable shot. Nice shot. I tried a couple from the top of the hill, and it's definitely possible up there, and there is definitely a big wind adjustment we're going to have to do. And that wind adjustment, I do have a Saturn in this bag. Cool. See if I can get my. I don't have enough side spin on this ball to bring me around. Let's just see how it flows down there. We're way in the hell down that hole. So let's do a 30% wind adjustment. That would be 6. Let's do a 3 ring adjustment. Slightly over a ring and a half. And just kind of see how the ball travels. Hitting it perfect. Definitely want to bring a ball with more side spin, so you could get more direction towards the cup. But there may be something that we can do down there as far as a rough bump. I'm not sure if we can get it pointed good enough towards the hole, but Almighty seemed to get pretty damn close with a 0.72 with the Grizzly. So there is something down there. Trying to give these holes a good look here. Come on, no Milano holes. Acacia reserve hole 2 par 5. That's what I'm talking about. Now the straightforward shot here is to do the par 5 ball and try and blast yourself over into this area right here so that you can come at the green. You really have 4 options. You can do a rough bump. You could go in front of it with like a Grizzly or a backbone, or you could come up and hit it with a Saturn and do backspin. Or if you had a Grim Reaper, you could really backspin it. And that way you're starting off on the green and you're not having to involve yourself with this dip at all. But I'm going to take this shot to try and get over here because I want to see what it looks like from the top. I want to see if it's even worth the effort to try and get to the top. I looked at it yesterday, and then I went and did the shot on the right, and then Mike D sank an Albie on me and totally kicked my butt. Ooh! You can get up from there, though. You can get up and down from there with Nirvana if you've got a Nirvana in your bag. Let's see. Extra mile. Let's bring out a bigger power ball. Three, 6. I'm going to take out just 3 and leave 0.6 in. And then I'm going to rub. And that's not good, hitting it great to the right. And it may put me in the sand. Just that little teeny bit of error hitting it to the left. If I'd hit it straight forward, I think I would have clipped the rough and just bled out. I want to see what that look. I I think that it would be a hell of a lot of effort to try and get up on the top there, as opposed to taking the shot and just laying up on the right. The thing about laying up on the right is you're going to have to involve this dip. You can't get in front of it. You're going to either be up here at the top where Almighty's at, or you may be over here on the side where you're down in it trying to bring it back to the left. You have a lot of options, but in my opinion, the worst option is to try and start way down in the bottom of that hole. So if you see elevation stuff where they're going, oh yeah, on the second shot you got to do X elevation, that doesn't tell me anything. What I want to know is, where are you hitting the second shot and where are your bounces? Are you bouncing it all the way in the bottom of that hole and then bringing it up? Or are you bouncing on the top where Almighty was at? You know, where are you bouncing it to get up there? That's the thing about the elevation shots, elevation adjustments, especially on holes like this, is where are those elevation adjustments? What is that shot? Because there's a bunch of different places that you could hit from, and each one of them is going to have something different. Thanks. My teammates know I'm out here practicing and doing a thing. I want to see what these angles look like. Like, what are your options from up here? Could you hit it from over here, where you're on the top, and try and bring it up to the cup? Like, how much will that bleed out? That's a scary looking shot. 1-3. See, from up here, it's probably only like maybe a 10-20%. So I'm going to do a 1-6. Just see what that bounce looks like and see like how much it runs out. Boy, that's really, really close there. So like if you were up there, if you were up on that top pad, hitting it on the top of that would be pretty problematic. I always like to look at different areas, because sometimes people will go like, that's the obvious area, and there's obvious ways to hit on holes. But sometimes coming at it from a different angle and looking at it and see what it looks like, and I'm just not sure that that is worth the effort to get over to that side. Number one, I think it's going to be super difficult to get over there. And number two, I think after you take all of that risk to get over there, I'm not sure that you're ending up with anything better than if you just laid up originally right to the right. But the next time I get on this hole, I'm going to do a max overpower hook shot and see if I can bleed that forward. I was talking to Dale Appleby, and we were talking about this hole, and he's like, man, we should try a max overpower hook shot on there, because if you can get the trajectory right, the area that you're bringing the power 5 ball to, where you're going straight forward, you could end up in that same area. And we both think that you wouldn't have to bring anything bigger than a katana. Or if you're a fan of Dale, a katana. Oh, I'm not jabbing at you, Dale. I'm going to try the rough bump from back here because we have a little bit more room, and see what this looks like. And that's going right towards the cup. And I don't like how that sand is with this wind. So it's 2-6. Where am I at in my club? Towards mid. Kind of eking towards mid. Maybe 1.2 per ring. There's 2-4. I'm going to do a little bit of an overpull. And I know I'm off trajectory with the wind. Isn't it perfect? And let's see what kind of bleed out it gets back there. So the deal is that we would have options. If the wind's not blowing the way we want it to in the tournament, instead of doing the front rough bump, we could go back and do a back rough bump right there. And so we do have some options depending on how the wind is blowing. And that's what's really important about these practice sessions, is going out here and not trying to just practice one shot, or just like, don't be afraid to lose during the practice session and be crazy and do stuff. Because I really think that this shot right here, especially if you got really accurate clubs, is probably the money shot. But I can think of several different wind directions that this shot right here would involve you having to really pull over the sand, whereas the rough bump that I just took a minute ago Like right here, this shot is better because you're pulling over this fairway area and you're not having to deal as much with the distorted rings. Whereas from back where I was at, I was having to get into the sand. So, thinking about it like that so that when it comes into the tournament, you're not stuck on one thing. Don't believe that whole crap that goes out and people put in content that you don't take this shot right here and you don't do these 5,000 adjustments. You can't make a hole in one. There's a ton of different ways you can make a hole in one. I am telling you, All Might is just beating my ass today. Everybody's putting a hurting on Ott. I think I have two teammates I have a winning percentage against. Come on, another Acacia hole. You give me a beat down. At least you could give me an Acacia hole. All right, I'll be back. We'll play this one, and we'll be back. Now we can get maximum time on the video. I'll be back. All right, we got Acacia Reserve, hole 9, par 5. I haven't played these holes enough to remember what they all look like until we get out there. Okay, I remember now. I want to bring what I really like to bring here is a big tapa and a Titan or a Kingmaker so we can cut the wind down just a little bit more. But we don't really need anything more than a 3-power ball. If you got an extra mile, it'll be more than enough. It's going to get you out into this range depending on what level you've got, and you're going to have a nice opening through here. And where we need to end up on our drive so that we have the best shot on that rough bump is going to be totally dependent on the weekend win or the tournament win. And my normal MO in rough bumps is I'm usually like 2 rings into the rough. But it seems like it's running out. I'm getting a better look at it if I'm 3 rings out into the rough here. If you hear music in the background, that's Weezer Radio on Pandora. Now let's switch this to a Titan. Pick the ball. That would be appropriate. Myself lots of room. 4-1, that's about 2 rings. 2.1 per ring, so that's 4-2. Pretty dang close. Who's counting? Hit it great to the right, which should have no bearing down here. This fairway is super wide. If you fail on the drive on this shot, I have no idea what you were doing. You got tons of room down there. But I do think you can overdrive it. And overdriving it means that you have to set up more over into this area. But we'll have to see how the wind's blowing and see what the deal is, whether or not, because I don't want to ever involve that sand trap. I don't want to have anything to do with that sand trap. That sand trap doesn't exist as far as I'm concerned. And it's real important. Watch your opponents when they're taking these rough bump shots, because sometimes maybe being 1 ring off of the rough is better, and sometimes being 2 rings is better, and sometimes 3, and being deeper into it. As long as your second bounce is out of the rough is what's important, but it's getting irregular bounces through the rough. Sometimes on those, and I'm sure anybody out there that's done rough bumps a lot, some spots you get a little irregular bounce, so you can move it back or move it forward a little bit. I'm going to take 10% off on the wind. So I'm going to do a 0.9 adjustment. So there's 1. So I'm going to do a 0.9. Take just a titch of wind off. Oh, I missed out by a mile. I put the wind back in it. I like the rollout better. it seemed like if I was 2 rings off the transition, I wasn't putting any top spin on it at all. And sometimes when you don't put any top spin on, you just let the ball do whatever it wants to do. It always seems like I need to put something on it. So moving it back just a little bit in there, seemed like it was rolling out a little smoother. But that's just my impression. Play around with that. If you're not liking the results, if you're shooting it and it seems like it's always a little inconsistent, what you can change on that shot is where you're setting up that rough bump. Push it forward a little bit or pull it back a little bit and set it up and see if you get a more consistent bounce. All right, come on. Acacia Reserve. Let's go. Let's go. There we go. And I have the wrong freaking club again. I want to take this shot with the Saturn down in that hole and do a rough bump. I don't think I can get it done with a Grizzly because I don't have enough topspin to get up into it. But I really want to take this shot from down here. And I can't. I just don't have enough topspin to get that done. So it means I have to hit it from the top. Two 6. Do 2-9. If I can get the shot off in time. And I hit it great. I can't even believe I got the shot off. I have found on that shot, that's a prime example of what I was talking about a minute ago. That if you're bouncing off from over here, the farther you push it, the closer you get towards the front of this, the more you're involving this terrain right here. And the ball guide seems a little wonky. So if you pull back a little bit farther, your ball guide you're not involving so much of this movement that's here on the course because it drops off on the front of this. And so the ball is wanting to dig forward, and there's a spot out there that you can find where the ball guide seems to be pretty true. There's a lot of those spots where the ball guide keeps appearing and disappearing, or it wants to get all wonky. Good game. All right, I'll pause this and we'll see if we can get another one. I'm going to go let Almighty clear out his chest because I don't think I've won any. All right, we're back. I went and changed out all of my long irons for Saturn so that I can try some of those shots on those par 3s. It's not some of the holes I want to come at them with a Grizzly, but I want to, like this hole right here. Any long iron will work coming into the hole. I will bring my Grizzly in the tournament just because it's more accurate, but it can get down with the Saturn. But there's some of these par 3s that there's shots on here that I want to try, and I don't have enough topspin with the Grizzly. I switched my big topper bag. I usually run with a big topper, big dog, and I took the big dog out and put in a sniper. So there's a couple of shots where I want to do the drive with a big topper, but I want my second club to be a sniper. And everything else is pretty much the same. So I got 4 different drivers. And we've got a collection. 385. Let's see where he's at compared to the sand out there. That's a really nice spot out there. I'm trying to get farther to the left. I want to try and get as far to the left as possible so I can see what the look looks like way out here to the left. And see if there's any benefit to getting out into this area. So like if I was really trying to get out in there, I'd probably bring a 3 side spin. If I had that kind of wind, like a 3 side spin, 4 power ball, just so you could get way up there. But I'm trying to get, and I've got the right club here where I want to see what that rough bump looks like. We have a pure side wind here, so that side wind is the wind that I like to play on this type of rough bump. This hole's super easy to blow past the cup. You do not want to blow past the cup on this hole. And I'm going to try a 10% wind adjustment. Although I don't know for sure that we need to do an elevation adjustment. I'm going to check it out. In the hole. Ooh, close. This is what I'm talking about. Once it starts rolling past the cup, watch. It'll pick up speed and it'll roll all the way down to the fringe. Your hope here is that we'll get down to the fringe. Close. So there's max. I'm right at max club here. It's 5-1, or I'm going to do 5-5. So times 5 divided by 1.9 is 2.89 rings. 2.9 rings. Hitting it perfect. See if we can see what that looks like doing a rough bump right there. See if it gets the run towards the cup. Money! That works. So there's the rough bump shot, and I want to try on all these holes. I'm just trying to. I'm exploring my options, stuff that we didn't get to try when it was in the summer major because we were so focused on just trying to learn the holes. But just coming out here now and really trying to see what our options are coming up to the cup. That is a viable option. Hole number 9, par 5. Is this the same hole again? No. This is the other hole. But this time I can bring a big topper out and see like what kind of forward distance I get with a big topper and a Titan versus an extra mile and a Titan. If you got an extra mile 8 and a Titan and a big topper like level 4 and a Titan, you'll net more yardage on a shot like this, a straightforward shot, no impediments, no nothing. You'll net more yards with the big topper. But if you got an extra mile 9, you can probably net more yards with the extra mile 9 because it's got so much more topspin. I mean, it's got 85 versus what, like 50 or 60, 65, something in there. And I'm thoroughly convinced that the best way to come at this hole is the rough bump. Let's see where my big topper is as far as distance. Let's see what kind of distance we net with the big topper out there. This has been a pretty good look with the extra mile, but just kind of like seeing what that distance is. It's about 2 per ring, so a little less than 2 rings. Hit 1 ring great to the left. I should have put a little teeny bit of right hand curl on that shot. Just a little teeny bit. 376, 367. I think I was. Yeah. You can net if you've got a bigger extra mile. You can net a little bit more distance if you got an extra mile 9, a little bit more distance with the extra mile 9. But I don't think that's going to impede the shot here as far as doing the rough bump. I haven't shot it enough to know like what the minimum distance, like when you're looking at distances out there, what the minimum distance is you need to get in order to do the rough bump and what the max distance is. I do believe on this hole, if you're shooting off on the tee box to the right, that's a losing proposition. All you're doing is making it super hard on yourself. And these two shots are pretty straightforward. If we can get this adjustment right on this rough bump, this could be a serious Albie hole, because I think you're going to end up in this spot out here in the fairway every time. Let's see if we have a distance issue. I am right at, so that distance right there on the drive, and that puts you right at your red line with a 3 power ball. I'm going to take 10% off, so I'm going to do a 2-8 wind adjustment. There's 1, 2, 8. Oh, my timing from the right to the left today is just absolutely crap. I'm going to have to switch to the left to the right and get my timing back. Almighty's turn. Eagle. Maybe we'll get lucky and we'll get one of the Acacia reserve holes for the shootout. We get 2 in a row. 3 in a row. We're on a roll. Eagle, eagle. For those of you that haven't played these Acacia reserve holes, the focus this week in the practice session is always getting the minimum score, but seeing what your shot is to pick up one. All right, I'll pause it again and then we'll pick it up on the next one. All right, we're on hole 8, par 4, Acacia reserve. And yes, Almighty is still whipping me up, beating up on me. See, I have video proof that these guys are abusing me. I'm just an old guy. Is this elder abuse? They are all really good players. Really good players and just beating the crap right out of me. So I like where Almighty's setting it up. That's exactly the deal. I mean, if you're in that hole, give yourself maximum room on both sides instead of like rubbing up against one edge or the other. This hole right here is going to be totally dependent on the clubs in your bag on what ball you pull out. So if you've got lower developed clubs, I'm just the messenger, folks. This is a power 4, maybe even a power 5 ball, depending on the level of your clubs. Whatever it takes so that you can do the shot without doing any overpower. That's the key. Switch to my number 1 bag. The Numero Uno. Trying to get down in that hole so that we're right dead center. A little more side spin to the right. 2.1 per ring, so there's 4.2. So that's about need to be a little shy of that. Maybe a ring and 3/4, somewhere in that neighborhood. Close. Got my dog chewing the hell out of my hand. Oh, and I had a 2 rings great to the right. That's going to put me in the rough. Buster, you're chewing me up, man. You're tearing me up, buddy. If I can get through it. Excellent. Just don't get on the green. Don't give me that kind of putt. Come on, man. Be nice to me. For those of you that might be new to the channel, I may be consistent on a lot of stuff, but one thing I am not very good at in this game is putts. Short putts, I got lots and lots and lots of practice with short putts. Long putts, I don't have a lot of practice on them. They're not my favorite. They're not my cup of tea. So sometimes when you're on these holes right here, like this may be a better time to do the topspin so you're going straight out. But see how it's getting wonky where it's doing the thing? So if it's doing that, just put on a little bit of backspin and get right up to the cup and the ball guide will quit getting wonky. but when you get up like this, wind may slightly be a factor. So I'm going to be on the left-hand side of the flagpole. I missed it. Can't believe that went in. I was going to release about 2 times before that. Go back and rewind that video, and it made it. I was just getting ready to release, and it made a jog going from the left to the right. And then I paused, and then and I got my timing off. Freaking lag. All right, we got another one of the Acacia reserves, and finally I came on this hole, and I have a freaking Saturn on my back, so I can try the rough bump. I'm sure there's going to be some kind of an elevation adjustment we're going to have to do because we're way down in that hole. And it would probably be better because before I was bringing a 2 or a 3 power ball the last time we played these holes in the summer major, and I was starting off on this fairway over here. And in order to get my Saturn over to that side, I had to bring a bigger ball to push my red line forward. So if we're just hitting down here into the rough and we want to be at maximum club, we could probably do it with a 1 power ball. Maybe even a 0 power ball. It's always better to be. I always hate it when you get those shots, and there's several holes I can think of right off the top of my head where you're in between max and mid, and you're constantly dinking around with some odd number or trying to get. You're always just a little off because and so it's always better to be either at max or mid or minimum. And so this can all change with the ball. So there's my red line. So a katana probably worked fine. Let's see if I can find a spot out here where I can get it to the cup. 2.5, and I'm at max club. It's 1.9 per ring. That leaves me 6. That'd be a third. And I'm going to do a little. Do I need to do an adjustment? I don't think I do. I'm going to just do a regular standard adjustment, about a ring and a third. And let's be real cognizant of where it lands. And of course, I hit it great to the left. You probably get the run up on it. I'm sure if you're a Hammer and Hank fan, he's going to be taking that rough bump down there at the bottom with the Goliath because it's got more top spin, and he'll be taking that with a Goliath. But I'm not a real big Goliath fan. On a specific hole like that where you're landing and that's the only thing you're playing is that hole, a Goliath is probably fine. In day-to-day play when you're out playing, I don't like a Goliath because there's no transition between wood and long iron. You're instantaneously from minimum wood into maximum long iron. So if you're in those shots where you're hitting, you'll switch clubs and it makes it all wonky. All right, I'll pause it again and then we'll pick it up on the next Acacia hole. Let's see how much time we got on this video. 37. So we could probably get 2 or 3 more holes in. All right, I'll be back. All right, we're on hole 2, par 5. Played 1 hole. Got the eagle on that hole. I finally won one. I go first. All right. This is the hole. I'm going to do the layup shot here. So I want to show I screwed the layup shot up here yesterday. So let me do the layup shot just so you guys can see. For those of you that don't have any Power 5 balls, let's see what it takes to get over to this other side. I don't think it takes very much topspin at all. Just right in that area right there. 3 rings off, 1 mile per hour. And I'm going to put some curl on it, and there's max curl. I don't want to put that much on it. I just want to put some curl on it to bring it back over to that fairway. Isn't it perfect? Just trying to run it out there. It's not going to take, you'll have to work that shot out, but it looks like you could do a ton of curl on there, but it doesn't take a lot of curl to get over to that area. And it's not going to take a lot of topspin once you get over there to get you up into that chute. So you could probably put a little bit more than I had on there. I don't think I had that much. I wasn't really paying attention. I was just kind of doing it intuitively, but just trying to do the little layup shot out there. And I think you'll have options. And I don't have a guardian in any of my bags, but I think we'll have to see what kind of distances we have. It's been a long time since I did the layup shot up here. In one-on-one play, the few times that I got this before the 2019 Summer Major and then after it when it was still out, I did the layup shot out there, so I didn't have to burn a Power 5 ball. It wasn't worth burning a Power 5 ball on one-on-one. But it's super easy to do that right there where you over curl it. That is one thing that it looks like you could put a ton of curl on there, but for some reason it doesn't play out that way. So I think you could potentially hit from the top, but if you end up short like this, you're going to have to bring it around. This is where a guardian would come in handy because you can do a lot of backspin. Yeah, we're going to have to either, if you're going to lay up out there, you're going to need a little more distance than what I got, what I netted. Because I really have no shot at Albie here. What I have is a shot to get on the green so that I can get my eagle and move the hell on. So I could come at it from the right and then try and bring it down around it instead of trying to get over that. Maybe be able to control my speed a little bit better so that I didn't end up in the rough on the backside. But and that's probably the better way to go at it in that situation is to come at it from over here on this side where you're bringing it around the curve so that you can get one of your bounces to be here instead of it being in the sand or the rough, and then bring it around. It's not, at that point, you're not talking Albie. What you're talking about is getting on the green, getting your eagle, and moving the hell on. So if you're going to use that layup shot up there at the top, you're going to need to net more distance on the drive so that you can get deeper in your club, or you're going to have to bring a 4-power ball. And if you're going to bring a bigger ball, you might as well bring a 5-power ball and try and go for it straight forward. See how Almighty gets up there? Very nice. Put himself in a spot. Put himself in a spot where he's got a chance. Look how far downhill that is. I mean, way downhill. Like, where you at? I'm way downhill. From here, wind should not be a factor. And it 2 rings great to the left. Let Almighty catch up. See if he can put the hurt on me. I know it seems like if you've been watching these videos, I'm kind of screwing around and just out here and just playing. I will tell you number one, I just want to have some fun in the game because it seems like the last 6 weeks have been just a absolute grind fest with all of the tournaments that have come out, and it's totally like just trying to go out and have some fun in the game. Remember how much fun the game is. And it's been a long time since I played these holes, and I just want to give them a second look and go out and try out a bunch of stuff and worry about elevation and all that stuff later. The main thing right now is I'm trying to establish what clubs, what balls, where I want my landing zones to be, what my landing zone options are, so that once we see in Monday's practice round, we see what the tournament wins are like. Then we can go, okay, hey, on that hole, that shot's not going to work and this shot's going to be better. And we've tried all those shots. Especially since we're getting to play against teammates. So go out there and have fun and don't worry about losing. There's no shame in losing. Our whole goal is we're using all this stuff to try and get better tournament results, tournament finishes. So how much you've won out on the course playing one-on-one is not Don't worry about that. Here we go. All right, I'm gonna try. I worked the front rough bump, and I'm working the back rough bump now. So there's min club, there's max, so there's mid. So, and I'm kind of like in between. It's probably better with a katana because it put me maybe like absolutely mid club. So I'm gonna try this with a at mid club, which is 1.2 per ring, is how I play it. See if it'll actually bleed up to the cup. So 1.2, and I'm downhill. So I'm gonna do that. See if I can catch it perfect. Hitting it perfect. There's a spot there. It looks like it's going to stop like way before it even gets to the green, but there is a spot up there, and I'm not absolutely sure that I don't like. I think I might like that rough bump spot better than this spot. I think either one of them. The last time we were on this, Almighty hit a hole in one on this, so I think they're both. But as far as like risk versus reward, the reward on both of these is you get a hole in one, but the risk here is look how close you are, and think of all the different types of winds that would make you have to adjust over that sand. And so I think both of those are absolutely viable shots. I think as far as like risk goes, the back shot that I was doing may be less risky, especially if you have less accurate clubs, because you may be able to find a better spot out there where you've got a little bit more, because there's very little leeway right there unless you have a really accurate club. This is 2 holes in a row that he's hit a hole in one on this. Fantastic shot, dude. So I'm telling you, either one of those areas could potentially be it. But go back, if you watch this video, Almighty slammed 2 hole in ones in a row on that hole. So whatever adjustment he's using right there is money. Money. All right, I will pause it and we'll be back. All right, we got hole 1, par 4. Let's not get a headwind on this one. Come on, man. Let's get some kind of side tailwind, something other than that due headwind. It killed me last time. Oh, this is gonna kill this shot. It's gonna kill it. Because I know we're not going to get this kind of wind in the tournament, so it's not worth bringing out a different ball or a bigger power ball to try and do this stuff. And the reason I always do these max horsepower hook shots, at least when I start doing them with a Titan, is because that's a great practice ball to use on them. And then if you find you're just not getting enough movement in one direction, you could bring out a kingmaker. But a lot of times if you put max topspin on a shot, you can't get on any more side spin. So a kingmaker, other than just cutting the wind down, isn't really helping you sometimes. But I'm 100% sure this shot's not going to work out with this wind. We need some kind of wind blowing in a different direction. All right, we'll try it. I'm going to try it. Okay, there's the second, third. Come in a whole ring. I'm going to make a pretty good adjustment on this. Try and fight up against that wind. Oh, and I screwed up and I put all the topspin on it. Oh, that was my screw up. I was running out of time, so see if I can catch the fairway. That's the spot, and it's coming over. I moved it way too much to the left. I moved it in a ring, and then I did like 2.5 rings worth of adjustment, and it really should have only been 2 rings worth of adjustment based on that win. It was like a 3.9 win. It's 1.7 per ring, so it'd be 2 rings and a little. But I really made a 3/4 of a ring adjustment going in that direction. That's why the trajectory was off over here as opposed to coming towards the fairway. But that wind could be doable. We just have to, every type of wind that we get, we're going to have to, whatever base adjustment we have, we're going to have to fine tune that max overpower hook shot based off of what kind of wind we're getting in the tournament. The first couple of times I came on this hole, we were getting pretty much kind of the wind that we got in the last tournament. And so I'm pretty sure the shot will work. That's in the hole. Nice. Nice. Well played. Very nice. All right, where am I? There's max. There's mid. I'm in the good zone. Let's see what kind of run out I can get. That even puts me better. I'm going to go towards that side of the cup. See if I can hit it perfect. Hitting it perfect. Oh. That sucks. There's a word for that. That's no bueno. All right, let's see if we can get one more. I think we got enough time on the video we may have enough time for one more. Let's see. It'll probably end in the middle of it, but let's see if we could at least get the drive. Okay, this is one we haven't got. So hole 4, par 4. I'm going to pause. Now, here we go. I don't even remember this hole. What the hell is this hole? Hey, come on. Come on, man. I got the Titan. All kinds of shit going on here. Oh, yeah. This is the hole I haven't gotten this hole yet. This is the one. And I think this is really literally going to boil down to, it's all about bounces. So I'll muscle it in there with a power 3 ball, and we'll see what that looks like. I'm going to be 3 rings off that transitional at max pull. Take the wind out. I think if you bring a 5 power ball here and you make a wind adjustment, you can get your bounces to bounce right, so that every single time you come here, you do a 20% or a 30% or a 40% wind adjustment, whatever it happens to be, so that you can get your bounces right to get through that. If we had a little bit of tailwind, it would give us a little bit more, but that angle coming through it, one of the things that I noticed I did wrong last time, and it took me all week to learn it, was I was trying to give myself more clearance on the traps that were on the left-hand side. But you really needed to come in where your first bounce was out here and your second bounce was like right in this area. So that you were engaging it at the short spot of that fairway. You need to work your shot as close to the left, like what, and he's got a big ball, and this is the deal right here. See how he does with that Pacific Cup ball. Because if we can take this with no overpower and we can just get a shot that it just goes bounce, diddy, bounce, diddy, bounce, and ends up on the other side, that is what we're really looking for. Bounce, diddy, bounce, and see how close he was on that. See how close he was to that rough there with putting the curl in it. So if he moved that shot over maybe half a ring, 3/4 of a ring, he'd have much more clearance there, still coming through. Nice bleed through, very nice. See if we have enough time for me to get this shot off. There should be no wind effect here. Hit it great to the left. And it went great to the left. Yeah, I really think that the way that those bounces were on that is the key. That is awesome. Nice job. We had just enough to get this in. Get in the hole. And Almighty's going to be nice to me. Look at him. What a good teammate right there. So we can keep on playing. Yeah, that's the first time I've caught this hole this round, and I think with the Titan, it's going to be the same thing. There's no way I'm going to want to do max overpower on that. That hole right there is the hole that will make or break whether you're in the top three. I mean, there's a lot of other holes here that we could make shots on, but when we think about par fours, the par four number 8 is an absolute must get. But if we can get this hole right here every single time, that's a minus 28 base score. And anything else you pick up is starting to become banner shots. Those are the shots that are going to get you a banner. And so I really think that we have a great opportunity there, but we're going to have to pull out. We're going to have to work that shot because I do not want to have to take that shot with overpower. All right. That was some practice for the upcoming Safari Sunrise. Thanks for watching.